Okay, I think we're ready to start. I'd like to introduce the candidates who are vying for the state Senate seat in the 8th Legislative District. They are Tony Benegas, Sharon Brown, and Phillip Lemley. This Senate seat will be up for election again in 2014, as it is the seat that was originally filled by Mr. Delvin in 2010, so it will come up again in 2014. I think we'll start with our opening statements alphabetically. So Mr. Benegas, please limit your remarks to 2 minutes.
Okay, we'll try. Thank you for letting me be here. My name is Tony Benegas, and my issues are jobs, education, and getting government priorities right, like transportation infrastructure. But why me? Why should you vote for me? Because I'm the best qualified person up here. A bit about myself: I own a nuclear engineering company. Started that back in 2005. Before that, I worked 20 years at Hanford. My focus is jobs, jobs, and jobs. We're hurting right now, and what I bring is vision, focus, and results. Especially in these times, you got to have those. And we're going through some pretty tough times. Florida laid off 90% of their workforce. I have friends calling me up looking for work. These people deserve better. Kona reported this morning that our legislator got a D grade. Lack of focus? You deserve better. This is a partisan race. I am a Republican. I'm a real Republican. I have a long-standing conservative record, and I can prove it. I should look at my voting record for Republican presidential races. Republican every time since Reagan, because I know who and what I am. I've been elected to every Republican state convention since 2004. In 2008, I was elected to the National Republican Convention. That year, my opponents voted Democrat in the primary. Look what Obama's brought to this country. This is important. You need to know who we really are and what we stand for. Anyone can say, I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican. I can prove it. You need consistency. You need proven history. The Senate's a 4-year seat. Once it's in, that's it. I've lived in the area for 27 years. We raised our kids here. They went from public schools, from kindergarten to college, Hanford High, CBC, and WSU. I say this because I believe in our system. It isn't perfect. It could use some help. It can use some changes and some leadership. But I can say this as a parent who actually had kids in our public schools. And you know, we can work together and make it the best. So there you have it. I figure if I want to represent you, you should know who and what I am, and that you can count on me. Because in the end, you're my boss. This is all about you. It's not about millionaires. It's not about unions. It's not about PAC. It's about you. I'm already proven, and I humbly ask for your vote to be your senator. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Brown?
Thank you. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for putting on this forum, and to all of you here tonight. My name is Sharon Brown, and I am your state senator for the 8th Legislative District. I was elected by the precinct committee officers as one of 3, and then chosen unanimously by the Benton County Commissioners to fill former Senator Jerome Delvin's seat. Even though I came late to the session, I hit the ground running. I had a total of 6 bills signed into law, which is highly unusual for a freshman legislator. I had such success because of my determination to get things done for this district. 4 of my bills focus on job creation and reducing redundant regulatory burdens. One of those bills creates the monitoring of a one-stop business portal for the entire state, much like the one-stop shop we created when I was mayor pro tem for the city of Kennewick. We created in one place for the city developers to go to get their licenses, inspections, and permits. My bill will create that concept on a statewide level, which will free up time to let job creators do what they do best: employ people. Another bill of mine addresses the unintended consequences of Initiative I-937, which really hurts not only our job creators, but our seniors. I'm looking forward to continuing work on this bill. Because jobs are so important, I co-authored an article in the Puget Sound Business Journal with Moses Lake Senator Janaea Holmquist Newbury on the need to reform the policies of the Department of Labor and Industries in this state. As the system currently exists, it is going to cost an additional $2 billion in the next 10 years to do business in this state. Jobs are important, but so is the creation of a world-class education system, which is why, even though other lawmakers gave up, I continue to fight and brought home $5.4 million for Delta High School, our local STEM school. This is a huge victory for our district and positions us as the premier spot in the state for STEM education. We have only just begun. We now need to work to create a world-class STEM higher education system in the Tri-Cities. We have more PhDs per capita here than anywhere else in the country. I want to make the Tri-Cities a place where my children will want to raise their children and all of our families will thrive. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve you in Olympia, and I look forward to continuing that work. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lemley?
Okay, good afternoon. Is it on? There it is. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Phillip Lemley, and I'm a candidate for the Washington State Senate from the 8th District. I'm a mainstream Republican, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I moved here 12 years ago. During this time, I have worked every day to give back and contribute to the health and welfare of the Tri-Cities community as a whole. I've accomplished that in many ways. I've served as a councilman for the city of Richland for the last 4 years. I've served on many city boards and commissions. I volunteer at Cadillac Hospital and the Richland Police Department on a weekly basis. I am on the board of 7 nonprofit organizations here in the Tri-Cities. That's what I do best. I find a need and I fill it. I find a cause and I support it. I make a commitment and I live up to it. I'm now prepared to take on the challenges facing our district and our state. The greatest issues that we face are investing in our children by funding our K-12 schools, balancing the budget, creating a sustainable transportation infrastructure package, supporting agriculture. As your senator, I will create a sense of urgency to get the job done. I will build consensus so that we can make advances on important issues we face. I will spend 100% of my time as your senator listening to you and understanding your concerns. I will make your concerns my concerns. Give me your vote and I will get things done.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move to our questions. As we said, I got a lot of questions. However, there were a couple of subjects that I received more than one question on. And I'm going to start with this one. I got 2 questions on this. And we'll begin with you, Mr. Lemley. What is your position on businesses using the E-Verify system? Do you support it? Why or why not?
You know, this is a federal program that we need to be a part of. You know, it's a complicated program. At some point in the future, we're going to have to do something like that to make sure that the people that are employed in this state, in this district, are here legally. You know, I have no problem with doing that. I would support the E-Verify system.
Thank you. Mr. Benegas?
E-Verify, that was really part of a comprehensive program. That's the way it needs to stay. E-Verify in itself is kind of like putting a broken rearview mirror on a car that's not running. We really need to address the big issue, and that's a broken immigration system. Frankly, we need to secure the border, and we need to have real enforceable laws, because as a business guy, I can tell you right now, the laws contradict each other. It's illegal for me as a businessman to ask if someone, are you illegal? I can get fined for that, but yet E-Verify requires me to hire that person, and if they're found illegal, then I get fined. It's clearly meant to be tied in with an overall system. And it's important that we need forward in that, because this immigration system has been broken since 1965. And that's when Ted Kennedy first tried to propose a comprehensive immigration reform, and look where we are now. We have to try to move forward in a comprehensive way and address the issues. Again, secure the border, real enforceable laws. We have to know who's here. And E-Verify has got to be part of that, but it's not going to do it by itself.
Thank you. Ms. Brown?
Yes, I believe in E-Verify and support E-Verify. When I was Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Kennewick, that is one of the tools that we instituted. And I think it's important to note that E-Verify does not require that you hire anybody.
Okay. Thank you. This next question was one that we had prepared, plus we got 4 more questions from the audience on it. So, Ms. Brown, I'd like you to go first. During the last legislative session, you introduced a bill regarding the right of a business owner to refuse service to members of the public based on the owner's conscience or religious beliefs. The session ended without the bill going forward. Would you please explain your reasons for supporting this bill, including your understanding of the legal issues involved here?
Thank you. This stemmed from discussions on the Senate floor far before I got there in 2008, where senators stood up and said that with regard to this very particular issue, this will never happen. Other senators stood up and said, well, we've got to look at how this is going to affect our businesses. And the issue has arisen. I received lots of input from constituents who wanted clarification. They were very confused with regard to what to do. What do you do when you have a protected right versus a protected right? It presents a really big issue, and what I would like to know is what my opponents would have done in this instance.
Okay, and we're going to find that out. Mr. Lemley, would you have supported that bill? Why or why not? And what is your understanding of the legal issues here?
Well, basically, there are federal laws, federal civil rights laws, and state anti-discrimination laws that are against discrimination of any sort. I'm against discrimination of any sort for any reason.
All right, Mr. Benegas, same question.
You know, the question of what we were trying to do, and you got to look at the goals and the intent. And I understand there's a lot of folks, and I was one of them many years ago when I met with Joseph Backholm of the Family Policy Institute, and we were trying to define marriage between man and a woman, because we knew if we didn't succeed in that, litigation would come. Fast forward, and that's where we are today. That's when we needed to have the discussion. That's when we needed to do our best. R-74 passed. It's the law of the land. I don't think it's a good idea to pass legislation that legalizes discrimination. It's not a good idea to go down that path. We need to continue to work together across the aisle and come to a consensus in this. But the issue is that we're in litigation now. And to try and pass laws when something's still in litigation, Arlene's Flowers may prevail. So what will the answer needs to be? I don't know. I think we need to let the courts finish their job and then move forward.
Okay, thank you. On the next question, Mr. Benegas, if you would go first. There's two questions that are related here. Do you support a transportation package that would include a tax increase such as the recently proposed plan in the legislature? And I'm not real familiar with it. I hope you all are. And then the other one kind of related is, what is your position on raising the gas tax?
Okay, I believe that's pretty much the same bill. You're talking about the 10% gas tax that was argued about in the Senate and the legislature. And no, I would not support raising the gas tax. The problem with our current government is that it's not a problem of revenue, it's a problem of spending and priorities. The government is taking quite a bit of money already, and the approach we need to take is expanding a tax base by encouraging businesses. Revenue will rise. Reagan has proven that, and that's the way we need to move forward. And that's why I'm focusing so much on jobs and the economy, because that's the way we can cure our ills. A gas tax? No. We need to make sure that our government is disciplined. And are they spending their money all the correct way? No. I think we need to prioritize, and that's why I want to focus on that as a senator.
Thank you. Ms. Brown?
Well, I'm fortunate to sit on the Transportation Committee, and I have one sentence that I like to use. We need to fix it before we fund it. With regard to transportation in the state, there are so many issues out there. We have pontoons that didn't float with regard to the I-520 floating bridge. It's hard to have a floating bridge when the pontoons don't float. We had off-ramps that didn't line up to anywhere, and we had instances of double billing. So it's critically important that we look at the Washington Department of Transportation and fix some of these outstanding issues before we fund things.
Thank you. Mr. Lemley?
I will support a comprehensive funding package to not only build new projects, but also preserve and maintain existing roads, bridges, and infrastructure. If we do that, it's going to increase significantly. It's going to increase significant jobs. It's going to be a huge job market tied with this. Now, As far as the gas tax is concerned, I live on a fixed income like a lot of you out there do. I don't drive a lot of miles, and not a lot of us drive a lot of miles in this part of the country. On the other side, they drive huge amount of miles, so it's going to impact them more than it impacts us, but it's still going to be an impact. But it's a 10.5-cent gas tax over the next 5 years, as I understand, if I understand it correctly, 2 cents a year for the next 5 years. So it's not a huge impact when it comes down to taxes. But if the overarching issue is bringing in jobs, significant jobs, I believe we ought to look at it. And when you look at things like the bridge that fell down on the west side, if we don't do something to maintain and preserve what we've got, we're not going to be able to get our goods, services, and people to and from market, to and from their jobs, to and from places they want to go visit. It's going to be impossible someday if we don't maintain these roads, especially the agriculture industry. They have a tough time getting their goods out of the field in the summer because the roads are so hot. One county, I believe, is even taking up their asphalt roads and turning them into gravel because they can no longer maintain them. That's simply unacceptable.
Thank you. Unfortunately, our time for questions is up. I will let you know there were questions on if you're all following the PDC laws. There are questions about your republicanism, several different questions about that, questions on education, right to work, and how to attract business. But there was only one on each of those, so they didn't make the top ones. So let's go to our closing statements, and Mr. Lemley, if you'd go first.
Okay, tonight you have heard from the 3 candidates for the 8th District seat. All of us have the ability to research and know the issues that face our district and our citizens. How we individually address these opportunities is what will define us. This I promise you. I will listen to you, every one of you. I will make your concerns my concerns, every one of you. I will give you 100% of my time and commitment, every one of you. I will never forget who I serve as your senator. Never, not a single one of you will I ever forget that. Together we can make things happen. I am very grateful for your help and your vote on the August 6th primary.
Thank you. Mr. Benegas.
Bottom line is this is all about you. This is your race. We work for you. You are our boss. What I want to bring is economic prosperity. I have a business. I know about bringing jobs in, but I also understand government. I've been a councilman for 6 years. I'm a civil rights commissioner for the state of Washington. I also have a pretty long conservative streak. I introduced Newt Gingrich. I shook Herman Cain's hands, and I had a nice chat with Laura Bush. But all these things I bring to you because bottom line, you're my boss. I will serve you.
Thank you. Ms. Brown.
Thank you. I've accomplished a lot this session. My job-creating bills, the $5.4 million for Delta High School, and facilitating the dialogue between the State Department of Ecology and the Federal Department of Energy regarding the issues at Hanford site. However, there's more work to be done. We need to continue the effort to get hydropower recognized as a renewable energy source. We need to revise our labor and industries programs, and we need to continue pushing for additional STEM resources for our local higher education. It has been an honor to serve you, and I look forward to continuing to represent the 8th Legislative District. Please vote for me, Sharon Brown, for State Senator. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to all 3 of you for being with us tonight. I'll review these candidates once more. Tony Benegas, Sharon Brown, and Phillip Lemley.